starting to see sustainability creep into RFPs, creep into, requests for the proposals. Companies are, especially as this next generation gets in, I think it's becoming more critical. So we're going to start with you on this one, Dominick. How are you guys at ecoprintQ? How are you incorporating sustainability into your strategies, into your operations, and internally, but also for your customers? How is sustainability playing into what you guys do at ecoprintQ?
Yeah, it goes right back to offering the complete solution. The complete solution allows a customer to be more sustainable. And let me explain what I mean by that. Secure print, toner waste reduction. Then we have integrated scanning, maybe advanced capture, workflow solutions, reducing the carbon footprint into document storage, dynamic reporting and capabilities with our supported BI platforms. So Andy, I recently was doing some research on it, and polls and studies published recently that highlights 83% of the results said sustainability will be crucial by 2025. I mean, that's a big number.
It's coming.
So what are the other things that we're doing to be able to make sure our partners and our resellers are able to compete in that area, right? So we offer programs that enable organizations to actually plant trees more than their print consumes. So every print they print, a bulk amount of print, we can offer a program where a tree is planted. And we call that forest positive printing. So those are some of the things that we're doing on the sustainability side, Andy.
That's awesome. I love the whole tree thing. I've heard, anytime that we can add back to the environment instead of taking away, especially in an industry that's, kind of renowned for pulling trees out of the world. So that is awesome. Love that program. Mark, let's talk about driving sustainability in the print management market. What do you see from your customers? How is it playing in? How's it impacting what they do? And, are you seeing the increase, or is it just sort of kind of always been there? What do you think about the sustainability part of this?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I look back, being in this industry for 20 some odd years and all in print, in the early world of print management, it was a negative connotation in the dealer channel, right? You look at the principals. I don't know how many owners I've talked to, and they're like, I hate your software, right? I don't want to put print management out because you're doing the opposite of what we want. We want clicks. You're limiting clicks, and you're limiting our ability to sell and have revenue. And what we always try to implore to them is that we're not trying to get rid of clicks, right? We're trying to get rid of waste. Our goal is that there's not a waste basket sitting next to the printer and copier because people their print jobs are just sitting there. Somebody else comes, throws them in the recycle bin and goes, right? So it was always a matter of getting rid of the waste. Now, today, print management is more print enablement. We're trying to enable people to print more. Are you a remote worker and you need to be able to print from home no matter what network you're on, no matter what device you're on? That's what we want. And when you look at the sustainability aspect of that, it is printing what is needed, right? And so what we're seeing now more, Martin mentioned EV earlier, right? We're on the EV side of the business here at ACDI and offering that into the channel. But when you look at that and you put that together with print management, yes, we talked to the directors of procurement, but now we're talking to directors of sustainability. We had a big RFP that we were responding to in the print management world. It wasn't procurement that was leading it. It was the director of sustainability to talk about how can we put print management in here? How can it help us look at what Dominick said, being force positive, meeting our green initiative, the credits that are out there that companies need to get to meet their standards for their states and things like that. So that director of sustainability is going to play a bigger part in what we do today in our world moving forward. So you have to look at, what are you taking from the environment? What are you putting back into the environment, and how are you doing that responsibly? We have programs like Paper Cut Grows, and then print relief. Andy, you've not been in this industry a long time. I mean, print relief has been out there forever. Yep. Great programs. Most all the OEMs are behind it. Dealers are behind it, saying, let us, no matter what geography you're in, we'll plant trees in Brazil. We'll put them here, wherever. We'll put it back into it. It's just about, are you really taking that initiative and talking to your customers about being green? If you're not, that director of sustainability is going to start knocking on the door and saying, hey, we need it, and it's part of what we have to do to move forward with your company.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. I've been to Papercut's headquarters in Australia. I've been to visited you, Martin, at your 30th, your big 30th celebration last year, and I've seen sustainability at the motherships, right? I've seen how green you both your companies actually are, and how much of a part of your day to day. And again, it's some other countries handle this a little differently. It's clearly very, very important to people in Australia, very important to people in Europe. Martin, let's talk about the MyQ sustainability initiatives. How are these being received in the market, especially over there? What do you see as far as sustainability going forward? And is it going to increase in importance? Are we kind of at the top of it now? Where do you see it going, and how do you see MyQ playing into that?
Yeah, I think we consider sustainability every day when we develop our products and when we provide our services to our customers, and we really want to listen to their needs and to find the solution for their pains. And I would say that we took a slightly different approach to sustainability. We didn't want to limit ourselves to the negative impact of printing on the environment only, but we wanted to analyze all the negative factors that came to the market, especially during the pandemic. And I probably don't need to mention the significant drop in printing and logistical problems and shortage of printers and its components. But all of this upset the long-term balance between what providers were willing to sell their print services for and what customers were willing to buy. So it means the price for customers started to be very high because they started to print very low volume. So they lost the attractivity for those services, and providers simply lost the profit or lost the possibility to sell at expected profit. And when we analyzed all those factors, we found that we could do something for this market, and we found the solution in print sharing. Yeah, because it showed us that it can be one of the really sustainable solution that can restore efficiency for all parties, and that can make a major contribution to the environmental protection. How? Because it can simply use significantly less printers more efficiently. And what does it mean? This is what we started to do 15 years ago, right? Because the main initiative of all those print management systems were to reduce local printers and to use in a more smart way the corridor machines, right? So you purchased 10 MFPs instead of 100 printers. Those MFPs were designed for higher volume, which you concentrated on those machines. You provided also additional benefits like security, etc., etc. And you started to operate more efficiently. So even with the same volume of printed pages, you were able to print them with a lower price per click, because the more sophisticated machine was able to print more efficiently. And now, because of the cloud and because of all the topics we spoke about, we are able to do the same initiative for more organizations. So we can allow them to share one device, one more sophisticated device for, let's say, 3 independent companies, or for even personal usage. And this is, I think, it's absolutely fits to your ideas, guys, that you want to enable printing. And we think that this initiative is really, really similar because we can allow them to print wherever they need to print, and they don't need to take they don't need to take their own devices, or they don't need to purchase their own devices. It's like a scooter on the street, so you will use it right now when you really need it. You don't need to buy it, and you don't need to travel, visit everywhere, and you don't need to think about the security if somebody will steal it, etc. Because you will really use it and pay for the usage when you want to travel from the restaurant to another bar, for example. So this is behind our initiative, and we really believe that when we help people and organizations to use less devices, then we can contribute to the environmental aspects much more, because probably they don't need to produce such an amount of cheap devices. So we will reduce plastics and all the things connected with the production, and finally everybody can be happy, and we will save even the space, because we don't need to have such an amount of devices. So this is behind our initiative. We are just in the middle, and we already tested this with the first customers. The response is very positive. We have also very skeptical feedbacks from, let's say, matadors in the industries who told us it will not work, it will not gonna work. We believe that there is totally different timing today, and the opportunity is totally there. So this is behind our, let's say, initiatives inside MyQ.
Well, that is fascinating. It'll be really interesting to watch that roll out over the next few years. Let's take that approach and everything that Martin just said. Robbie, what do you see in the field as far as sustainability? How is that influencing actual RFPs, especially in the Americas now? That's obviously where your bread and butter is and where you grew up. How are you seeing this change and impact what dealers are able to sell now?
So I'm going to play off of something Mark said earlier. The director of sustainability is who he's seeing RFPs, bid responses coming from. And when I thought about this question, Mark also mentioned he phoned a friend. Well, I didn't phone a friend, but I went to Google and I typed in define sustainability. And I really liked the first thing that came back to me. It said the ability to be maintained at a certain rate or level. And the example they give was the sustainability of economic growth. So much of our conversation today around sustainability has been focused on the green initiative, that aspect of it. I almost want to challenge the status quo and say, yes, that is very important, the green aspect of sustainability, but the sustainability of economic growth. If we think about the hybrid or work from home environment now, that ability to maintain at a certain rate or level, having those folks be able to be as effective at home or in the hybrid environment as if they were in the office full time. So I think that's almost the next iteration here again, if we're trying to be forward thinking about sustainability, is yes, we keep the green initiatives in place, but how do we help our end users, our consumers focus on sustainability of economic growth?
I couldn't agree more, and I'm going to throw an extra question and we'll go around. Just bonus question. So like this next generation coming up, very different than my generation. Sustainability is a much bigger deal. What do you think? Do you think this is going to impact? Mark, why don't you take that one and we'll go around the room. What do you think as far as this going forward, this next generation? Is sustainability really going to be that much more important? Is it just going to kind of be another part of the sale, or is it going to be part of, the leading part of the sale? Where do you think these guys are going to, where are their heads at?
Well, I've got 2 teenagers, right? And I got a daughter going off to college right now. And so I can tell you that she is green as green can be, right? So, but it's back to, Robbie, I love what you said. I think that they are going to look at it from all aspects, right? They've come up in the world where, Andy, you mentioned it early on when we were all talking about, greenhouse gases and global warming and all that kind of stuff. It's been in their face. It's on their phones every day, and what they're hearing in real-time news, whether it be real or not so real. Right. So I think that it is going to be top of mind for them as they come in and start leading companies, as they come in and becoming a bigger part of the workforce, that they will look to sustainability, both from an economic standpoint and from a green initiative. I think they go hand in hand. My daughter is dying for me to get her a Tesla so she can plug in and drive EV. Right. But my son still wants to drive a truck. And so there's a balance. And I think that we have to continue to look at that. What is the balance? Print, Martin, you said it. We don't, nobody needs to talk about it declining. It is, but it's kind of leveling off. There's still needs. My kids still print. They're still launching things. You don't want to read a 5-page document on their phone. They'll print it off and they'll start, sitting down with it or whatever. So I think it is going to continue to drive our industry and our partners. But our partners are also bringing on younger talent, and that sales force, that new younger sales force, they have that top of mind anyway. And so it's just kind of fitting right along.
They are different. Dominick, what do you think? Because and you've got a bunch of people in that generation working there. I met a lot of them at your conference, and so how is the sustainability part of this creeping into your day to day and this next generation? What are your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, I have to agree with Mark. I think it's actually happening sooner than we realize. I mean, that statistic that I pointed out, earlier, 83 to 85% people talking that how important it is. Younger generation, news travels, data travels, awareness is more available. Kids are always, younger generation are on these things all day long. I have to put restrictions on my young kids' phones because if not, they'll sleep with their phone to their head like this or like this. So, and all of that is messaging behind of what they're able to identify. Sustainability, green initiatives, global awareness, all of that is top of mind, and I don't see it going away.
Martin, what do you think as far as your side of the pond? Are your millennials, are your this next generation, Gen Z, are these guys, is environmental as important to them as it is to this upcoming group here? Is it more so? What are you seeing over there?
Yeah, I can agree with you guys that what you feel in America, it's totally the same here in Europe. So younger generation definitely is greener than we were in the past, and maybe where we are still. And so one thing, they are definitely greener. Second thing, they don't want to purchase so much, or they don't want even to own a lot of properties because nowadays you can enjoy your life, when you have a time and when you have a money, you can rent whatever you want, whatever flat, car, whatever. And when you don't need it, you can just return it and don't have troubles with the maintenance, etc. So I think this is very important factor which influenced the new generation. Another thing is that they want to have everything immediately. I would say they don't have the patience like we had in the past. So they don't want to wait 10 years or 15 years to be the owner of something, because they can simply achieve it within 1 year. But they can just use it for a small time, because they can as I told you, they can just rent it when they need. So So this is what those trends we found, and I can see it also at my children. So nothing special or no big difference from your country.